Okay, guys, I think I finally did it. Can you hear me now? Anna and Linda. Yeah, okay. Sorry, technologically challenged. Hey, Anna, how's it going?
I'm just in here. Okay. Did you add me to the live?
Is this what you wanted me to do, Gloria?
There we go. I'm just here. Don't add me to the live. Remove me.
Okay, can you see me?
What is on? Just taking just a second for her webcam to come on. Atlanta is great right now. The weather is perfect. The only thing that's missing is the ocean. There we go. Good evening. How are you, Flor?
Hi, I'm good. Sorry, I ran in, opened my computer. I just got home, so.
I did too, and it took me a couple of minutes to figure out even what I was doing here.
Okay.
I was just talking to myself for a couple of minutes, and nobody could hear or see anything. Um, so hey everybody, so we have 9 people live right now. Hopefully more will join. For those of you who remember seeing the flyer in the group, um, this live was for Floor to share with us her trip to handle some legal matters, and that's what she applied for AP for. I know that some of us have um, relatives who pass away in our native countries, and they may leave us something, terrenos to take care of. So a lot of you were curious about this subject, myself included. So we'll go right in. Flo, if you can just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about um, when you came into the U.S., what age, your journey with DACA, and eventually how you applied for AP and traveled.
So my name is Flor. Um, I arrived at 7 years old. I came here with my sister. She was 2 years old. I always say we brought in the fancy way because, we were made to wear these fancy, ugly dresses. And they coached us, your name is this, you go to this school, blah, blah, blah. Even though I wasn't asked any questions at the beginning. But I've been here since 1991. Um, when DACA started, when I applied in 2012, when it all started, and I applied rushly because I was almost 31 when I applied. So it was interesting because when the whole thing opened that we could go, I was going to apply. But my sister, she also has DACA, and she convinced me not to because Trump had just started. And so she said, no, don't do it because you don't know if they're going to let you back in. She scared me through the whole thing. And then I I did it anyway, and then Trump closed it. So I wasn't able to go. So then after that, um, I waited and waited, and then the whole thing opened again. And my husband, it was, I married my husband. He's a U.S. citizen, so we went to the lawyer, and the lawyer's like, "Hey, you need to apply for this." And my aunts in Mexico did not want to help me. Nobody wanted to help me. They didn't. None of them. I kept asking one of my aunts that's sick, and she said no. I can't do that. The doctors are saying no. So like my whole everything, I was running out of ideas to kind of go. I didn't even think about the whole, death of my grandparents. So I just said, well, my grandpa left some stuff for my dad. And I talked to my dad, and he said, you know what? That's true. You can apply through that. So then I got in contact with a lawyer in Durango. Um, a couple of them. Some of them were like, no, I don't think I can do it. Oh, I need the actual letter, but none of my aunts wanted to let go of the letter. They kept saying, like, your aunt has it, your uncle has it, this other aunt has it, and she's in Mazatlan. So they kept saying, like, one of them had it. So anyway, I just told her, can you just please do the letter? This other lawyer. And she said, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. And so she wrote on there that I was going to go, I guess, claim, stuff for my grandpa when he died, because when we were little, he told me what belonged to who. And so I had that in my mind for years. So I told her how, he had said to me. So she wrote exactly what needed to be said. So she said that I had to be over there, to claim my grandpa's, like, kind of like to listen to a testamento. That's what she wrote. And then I did all the paperwork, um, and I just took it to the lawyer so that she could see it, because they were charging me a lot of money. So I did it myself. I took it to the lawyer so she could see it. And I didn't even write an affidavit. Like, at the end where the affidavit goes, I just put, like, I have to go, I need multiple entries because I don't know what the process is going to be like. And I didn't know anything for like 7 months. And then when they approved me, it was um just one entry, 30 days. And I was like, well, okay. But I didn't then I started seeing that people were doing the affidavits, and I was like, oh dang it, I should have just written more so that I could have gotten multiple entries for a whole year. But I didn't know. So I just wrote like 2 lines. I need to go to this. It's very important for me. And that was it.
Uh, I'm not muted, right? No. um, yeah, that was very interesting because we haven't had any stories in this group about anybody who traveled for this reason. Recently, the topic came up of, what if you have properties abroad and you like Airbnb them? Would that count as having a business so you can apply under work reasons?
Mm.
According to what I heard from one of our lawyers here, you could try. Obviously, there's no guarantee, but it's very interesting to hear that you went for that under humanitarian reasons for your grandfather. But were you able to take care of what you needed
Yeah.
to take care of?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm a legal resident now because of this, legal
Awesome,
entry.
awesome.
So because of it take in Mexico, it's not like here that you can just go and take papers and they'll just, like, give you a date to sign. Over there is different because you have to go and you have to find like the officials of the little town. You have to take the measurements. Luckily, the letter that I had already had the measurements. So I went to a couple of appointments. The only thing I need to do is have my dad sign off on the property release, and then take that and pay. It's like 16,000 pesos. So that's the only thing that I have to do. But I've done the process, and it's a lengthy process because you go and they have to really, really uh well, first thing is like trying to get his death certificate, because I didn't have all of that. And then my uncle said that my tia had it in like Sinaloa, and I was like, well, I can't go over there. And I only had 3 weeks, so it wasn't like, I had in those 3 weeks I would go to the city because we're in a little town. So in those 3 weeks I would go to the city almost every day to handle one. Like, I had to make copies of the letter, And then I had to get the testimony from the officials of our little ranchito. And the guy who's the president doesn't even know how to write. So we had to go through another thing to we had to bring a notario so he could write the letter, he could sign it in front of him for him. And I'm like, how do you become president? You don't know how to read or write. But anyway,
Wow.
so that took a while. And then I had to like get at least three of my aunts and uncles to sign off because technically that house belongs to my grandpa still, but he has died, and so he didn't leave. He left the letter and he signed it. There's like, judges and all that stuff, but they still have to, since it's been so long, they still have to like let all his kids know that that house is now going to belong to us. But they were fine with it because they know my dad. They didn't give me a problem. It's just the whole issue of like, getting all of them to sign it.
And traveling to do all that with just 30 days. That's
Well,
probably very
I
stressful.
had 3 weeks because at work they only gave me 3 weeks. So it's not like I could, take the extra week. Um, but I spent so much money doing that because I had to pay notarios. I had to pay the lawyer that I used because I used her for other um, stuff. So I had to pay her and the trips going back and forth. Um, so it was like, it was almost like I should have just driven there, taken my own car so I can come and go whenever I wanted to. Because the taxis are like 400 pesos. Like if you go somewhere further or they have to take you somewhere, wait for you, it's yeah. And then they hear you speak English and they're like, yeah.
Right.
And then
That,
plus food every trip. So, and I took my kids with me. So, it was a little lengthy because they make you come back for anything. Like if you forgot a detail, like let's say, um, I think one day made me go back because my uncle didn't say I declare. He just, like, and I'm just, his name is on there. He signed it. Like, so then I had to go back and do it.
there's a lot of bureaucracy for those of us from Latin America.
Yeah, it's not like
It's
here that you could just present your ID. Oh, and that was also an issue. I had to get um el número de mi CUR. So I had to go to a different agency and then I had to go and I had to like get my elector de emergencia, but they never opened on time. So because of COVID, they didn't open. So they had, when I guess the city went into semáforo, I think it was orange, they closed the offices. So I didn't even get to do that. And so I'm gonna have to go again and hopefully it's good so that I can get it. But someone was telling me that I can get it at the consulate, but I just haven't had the chance.
that would be much easier.
Yeah.
So how long did it take for you since you traveled on AP and then you applied for adjustment of status? How long did it take for you to get your green card?
So it came back in September. Um, I I I went through all the process of like getting all my documents together. Um, and then I did my own application too. So when I finished my application and then I went to the lawyer just to revise it, I was missing a couple of things. So I got everything together and I sent everything in October 20 something. I forgot the date. And November 17th, I had the appointment for my biometrics. And I went in and I didn't hear anything until February. I want to say that like the end of February, they sent me the letter that I had the interview on the 28th of March. So I had the interview the 28th of March, and they didn't even ask us any questions. Like
And that
any
was for
person.
your I sorry. That was for your I-130. Or did you already have that approved before
Yeah, so
travel?
that one was approved. So when I sent the I-130, the lawyer was like, okay, the AP thing opened up because we're talking about they opened it up in 20, did I want to say 2020 in December. That's when the whole thing was opened up for the AP for us to begin to travel. So I applied 2021 in January because I had already submitted my I-130 and it was already approved and I had already paid the visas, like I had done all of that. I was just waiting for the whole perdón thing. I had
Right.
already
Okay.
paid all of that too. So she said, why don't you try this? Maybe it'll speed up the process. We don't know. Like if you don't get approved, then we'll just have to wait until they send you to Juarez. So I said, okay. I was like a little skeptical about it because I'm like, I'm already paying all this money. And then now I have to pay another $600. And so I wasn't like, oh, should I go or not? And then my husband was like, just do it. Just if they let you go, good. If not, then good. Just do it. So I did it. I applied for the AP, and then when I came back, I submitted my 485 for my adjustment of status. Sorry, there's a bug in my office.
That's fine. That is awesome. So that's why it was pretty quick because you already had the I-130 approved. So
Yeah.
that
And
is
it only took a few days for them to send me my green card. I wasn't even expecting it because
wow.
they said 2 weeks. And then my daughter went to go get the mail and I saw the envelope and I was like, oh my God. So I recognized the envelope because I've seen it in all the videos. Like, I think that's what it is. And that's when I posted the video of me getting my green card. Because, it was long journey.
Oh my God. All of us, hopefully
Yeah.
all of us will get there someday. But I wanted to go through some questions here. Let's see. Thank you, Gloria. I try my best. Um, so Anita had a question. My son had AP. He now has legal entry. He now wants to go to India to get married. Does he apply for AP or would he do AOS? Would he apply for training? He cannot apply for AP just based on wanting to get married somewhere else. That doesn't fall under humanitarian work or educational. So if he already has a partner, I would say do it that way. Get married here, and you can have a second wedding wherever else. Um, or just wait for the combo card, something. But as far as AP goes, getting married would not be a reason. Um, you're asking about training. I'm not sure what kind of training you're talking about. Maybe he would qualify for AP under this training if he can prove it's for work. It will improve his promotability at work, or if it's under educational, something like that. But otherwise, he would need to wait for AOS. Well, now is your time, Elizabeth, if you haven't done so already. And Lucy, I think you probably already heard her response, but the main thing was the letter from the lawyer explaining um, why you needed to go right to Mexico. Um, so that was the main document she sent. And Lucy had another question. Did the lawyers in Mexico not accept your Mexican passport that was issued by the consulate in the US?
So, Mexico, when you're trying to transfer properties to your name, they accept your Mexican passport, but they also want like, where do you live? It has to be a Mexican residence. How, how are you connected to this little town that you're asking for? They also sent people to investigate, like they sent people to measure the property. So I couldn't, there, like, they take the passport, but the passport doesn't really have an address, a Mexican address. So that's what they want to see. They want to see, like, were you really born here? Because I took my acta, but I had to like get another one from over there because the acta that I had was from the consulate and it's different from the ones they have over there. So it's a slight difference. So they had, yeah, I was annoyed. I did lose my patience one day and I said a few things that I shouldn't have said, but um, but they're very strict and they look at you like the people from El Consulado here. It's like, well, I can't, like, what do you want me to do? You don't have the document, I can't help you.
In Brazil, it's crazy. They will not accept a passport for anything that has to do with government.
Mm-hmm.
They'll look at you like they've never seen a passport in their entire life. So if you're trying, if you're from Brazil and you're trying to take care of business there, you will need a local ID. Otherwise, you can't do it.
Yeah. Well, they ask for the not the consular, the one you used to vote over there, the elector, I think that's what it's called. And then they ask for a number that they give you. So it's like a social security in Durango. So they give you a number, but the offices are very specific. So you can only go through here, make appointments. But during COVID, they weren't really like helping anybody. And every time I go, there was a line like around the corner. Like by the time I get in, it's going to be 2 o'clock and then I can't get in anymore.
Right. I don't see any more questions, guys. So we may be wrapping this up very soon. Flora, thank you so much for being on and answering our questions. Hopefully, we'll see more people applying for the same reasons and hopefully getting more than 30 days.
Well, and also, like, I think my mistake was not emphasizing like, and I also didn't ask my lawyer to say, this is a process that takes, and that's another thing that you should ask, like, if you want multiple entries for that reason. And you're dealing with properties in Mexico, just know that you cannot do anything in 30 days. That's just impossible because there's a lot of technicalities you have to go through. And if you've been in the United States all your life and you don't understand the laws in Mexico, then you need multiple entries. And I did because I went to school in Mexico. But a lot of the things I didn't really understand. And so yeah, it takes a long time. So if you're gonna go for anything, any transfer of land, any like change of name, you have to make sure to ask for multiple entries. At least so that the first time that you go, you get enough information so you can fix all of that next time you go and stuff like that.
Gabriela, my cousin left me a property in Mexico. Is that a reason to apply for AP? Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about with Flor. Her grandfather left her
But
property.
she does have to have proof though, because they
Right.
want proof. I had proof because my grandpa left a letter. So even though I didn't use that to apply, I had it in my possession when I went over there. I picked it up just in case I needed it, and I brought it back just in case, in the border. Because my biggest concern was like, what about if they ask me for proof that I went over there? So I brought on my receipts to the visits to the offices. I brought out that with me so that I was ready, but I didn't get any of that asked.
Yeah, so you can, like Flor said, you're going to need proof that he or she really left you the property. I would think you probably need to prove familial relationship as well. I may be wrong. So you're going to have to get everybody's birth certificates from yourself to your cousin, proving that you two are related.
Yeah, that's what I had to do with my grandpa. So, I mean, obviously and that's a little bit more complicated because the cousin, obviously, they have to have like the aunt, the relationship with the mom and the grandparents. So it has to be that's a lot of translating.
So you're gonna have to have about 57 birth certificates translated. So good luck with that.
Pretty much.
So our next live, we are either going to talk about affidavits, or we're just going to share more experiences traveling. I will need people's help. I'm keeping a spreadsheet of names of people who traveled recently, who are going to travel. So you guys stay tuned. I'm going to reach out to you to participate on the next one. And I always accept help because I'm trying to do this every 2 weeks. And if you have topics and you want to talk about something, please let me know. Other than that, I think this is it for us.
Okay.
Thank you again, Floor.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
everybody.
You.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
You too.